Hello. So, living the ancient teachings, what does it mean and why would you want to? And then today we also thought about talking about humanity uh, on the journey of awakening. And I don't know if we get to it because the first subject is pretty big, but if there's time, we'll try. And then the third thing was the no nos. And I'm pretty sure we won't get to those, but well, we'll we'll pick those up. I guarantee you, because they're very, very important. So, hi and welcome to the new Catastrophe Healing Talk. My name is Helmut. I'm here with my beautiful friends, Dolores, Laura Ketty, and Laura Philpott. Hi, guys. And of course, Kay Cordell Whitaker. And the things we want to talk about today are coincidentally also the subjects of our summer gathering, the first annual Catharsis Summer Gathering. And you can see that QR code on top there. And when you scan that, it gets you to the summer gathering page, and you can get all the details about that. So, Kay, what does it mean to live the ancient teachings? And why would one be as crazy and want to do that?
Oh, goodness. Well, I think most of us in the modern world today are crazy enough to want something else, something different, something that will be healing. I mean, really, really healing and take the stress away and the struggle away and the trauma. In our modern times right now, everything is getting harder and harder, and you hear that. I go on the internet or hear the news. You can see it in movies. Life just seems to be a bigger and bigger struggle for people. They're so overstressed, they're so overworked. They've forgotten about things they really, really were dreaming of and wanting to do or explore or to be. Uh, they gave those paths up for immediate necessity, just, feeding themselves, trying to get through school. Maybe they had that much resources. Just trying to live day to day. You hear these stories all the time, people having to take up not just one job, but a second job, maybe a third job, maybe a fourth job, just to make ends meet. And that's hard enough if you're living on your own. That's hard enough. But if you have a whole family, if you have loved ones, a partner, maybe parents or aunt and uncles or a cousin or somebody moved in with you and you already got your own kids, the families just start getting more and more crowded, less and less resources, more and more work, hard work, and often work they don't like. They're starting to feel and hear and see things about the world around us, about our economy, about the failing of our American dollar. And they see it. I mean, every time they go to the grocery store, they see the inflation has hit again. Prices are higher and they have less in their pocket. And how are they going to make everything work? How are they going to get along? How can they pay rent? How can that keep going like that? And we hear about the disruption of families, the mental illness. Uh, Mental illness is increasing at a skyrocketing um, amount, and that is really scary. There's a lot of causes because of all this different stress and um, the tension. A lot of people grow up in households where there's trauma and injury and violence and um, psychological trauma. May not have been hit around physically, but there you could have some pretty damaging stuff happen psychologically, emotionally. People just seem to be getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and everything in our environment is getting sicker and sicker, and our food is worse and worse and worse, and uh, the air's polluted, the water's polluted. You know, there's a lot to want to run away from. Uh, it's a lot of, I think, feeling deep inside people wanting to make a better world. If they can't help the whole world, if they could just at least help their own little tiny corner in their household, wouldn't that be much nicer? That would be better. They'd be getting closer to living the dream, good old American dream. Where'd that run off to? So I think when people can actually hear about these ancient teachings, what our own ancestors, way, way, way back, how they lived, how they lived, how they taught each other, themselves, how they had their children, how they raised their children, how they taught their children how to think and feel and believe, and teaching their children to question everything. Question everything. Even if you think you might already know, question it. You know, push that limit just a little bit more. Find the truth of things. They've raised their children to see the beauty in everything. The beauty. Most people in the modern culture today don't have a clue what beauty is on any level. They don't even know what just plain old aesthetic common beauty is. They can't tell the difference. The art around the world has declined. The architecture, design in the architecture, design in the things that are around us, like our cars, our furniture, even lamps. Just, has anybody seen a truly beautiful lamp recently outside of a museum that had a really, really old lamp in it? Katasi teaches how to start thinking and feeling from your core, from who you really are. That's what the ancients taught. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? What are you? Those are the biggest questions, the first questions. When you start to get a clue about who you are and learn to feel to really feel it, feel who you are, what your real essence is, what our song is. We call the truth of ourselves, what is our entity, our beingness, our totality, spirit, soul, all those different kind of words. The truth of who we are. That's our song, poetic term from my teachers, from their people, and it's so apropos because the truth of oneself, the truth of their aliveness, their consciousness, is like a song. It's like singing. It's like a piece of art, a piece of music. It's a piece of poetry. Uh, it's the beauty of existence. Modern people have lost sight of the beauty of existence. It's all around you, everywhere, and it's inside you. It's you. It's the truth of who you are. When you start to know who you are, you can feel that beauty and the love and the natural kindness and caring that's part of your beingness. And you can feel that in everything else. Just put your mind out to the nearest tree. You got a tree out your window? Go look at the tree. Go talk to the tree. Feel the tree. The tree will answer you. And it sends you love, and it provides exquisite beauty on all levels that you can see or not see, but you can always feel all kinds of different levels of feeling, not just touching its bark or the needles on that tree, the leaves. It's feeling with your whole body, with your spirit, with your song. And the kind of peace and joy that brings is indescribable. The beauty that's there is just indescribable. We don't have modern language words that can really convey that beauty and that love, the gentleness and the acceptance. You can go out to that tree and be all traumatized and have been in this huge fight and just you're carrying all this angst and if you just let the tree help you, it can take it all away. It can show you how to just let it go and not be anymore, and how to be happy and how to see and feel the beauty, the peace, incredible peace and quiet inside our heart and our mind and our belly. Trees always tell the truth. Plants always tell you the truth. Same with the animals out there, or even things like the dirt or the rocks or the sky, the wind. They'll tell you the truth if you ask and listen and feel. And that's what we learn in Katasi. We learn the old ways, really, really, really old ways. I'm talking about like pre-flood, pre-Noah. It's a good 12,000 years ago at least, maybe more than that. But our ancestors that lived back then in all these different cultures, they They learned from their ancestors, and they learned from the star people. They'll tell you. They'll tell you outright. They learned from the star people, or this piece of knowledge, this idea, this story came from the star people. And they've passed it down very carefully. And when they had to, they kept it secret so it wouldn't be lost or destroyed, but they keep passing it down generation to generation, century after century, and millennia after millennia. And here it is today. And they're bringing it back to the surface, back to people, so they can hear this, they can learn it, they can learn to live it. It's not impossible. And we can create a whole new world that has this way of seeing and thinking and believing. Not our really sick, dying world that we're in the middle of. We got to let that die. It's going, gone, and got to let it go. Don't pick up the pieces. You got to make a new world, brand new. So that's what we're going to talk about. That is just the beginning of the story. That's what we're going to do at the gathering here. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Lots and lots and lots of fun. So, Laura and Laura, what do you two have to say about your experiences with leaving the old world and finding the new world?
Other than, well, for me, it saved my life. I mean, I didn't see it coming. Well, I had a perfect Muggle life, before I came to Katasi, and I was unhappy in my perfect Muggle life. Very unhappy. But I felt guilty about being unhappy because, I had an amazing husband, amazing family, the job people wanted. On paper, everything was great. And one of the reasons I came to Katasi is I started losing sleep, and some of my skills at knowingness kind of was keeping me awake. I thought I was going a little crazy with some of what I learned was spirit abilities later on, and I was highly empathing. I was succubusing everybody's emotions, and so that was making me unhealthy, more unhealthy. I was feeling everything and didn't know what to do with it. I was just, and I was, I didn't know where to go. I didn't want to be medicated. I knew that. I didn't know where to go. And luckily, I read The Reluctant Shaman along my journey of trying to figure out, what could help me in the non-medical vein of dealing with this knowingness and stuff. There was something about the title of The Reluctant, that hit me. It was like, it's like, it was such a secret, I didn't want anybody to know. I was unhappy for sure, but what was happening with me. And finally, I let enough people know, and the trail got me to the book and eventually to the studies. And in the beginning, I couldn't figure out why Kay was trying to make us be happy. I was like, what does this have to do with, anything, learning my song, going deeper. And oh my God, it has everything to do with it. Long story short, the path, the call of your song, those first teachings and into the different learning the no nos. It just influences everything. It's a practice. It's not a belief. Kay actually teaches you don't believe anything. Experience. Have direct experience. Question everything. I've been, other people say you got to believe into something. And I'm like, no, you don't. Nor do you have to have an opinion, I've learned, and how freeing that is. It's just one beautiful experience after another, with this path. And it's a practice. So you're doing it. No one can do it for you, but you practice yourself out of the Muggle ways through these ancient practices. You learn who you really are, and you touch this amazing existence that's around you, and there's no way that you can't change. You have to forget everything you've learned with Katasi. If you want to go back to being angry and disappointed, it's just like you step into this beauty that can't be unseen, unfelt, and can't help but change you. And then she introduces you to the Weavings, and that change. I know I'll turn it over to Laura, but the same thing, it changes your family. It starts with you, but it hasn't. I fell in love with myself, which was the most significant thing somewhere along the road. It took me a couple of years, but all of a sudden, in studying it, and that was my journey. I think other people, it's faster. But I realized how shallow I loved those around me, and that changed, because I didn't really understand love. And the second I understood love, because I felt it for myself, I could offer it. And I had an amazing marriage, and we laugh at how more amazing it is now. It was just like, and we've changed, him and I have changed so much. We're not the people we married. And it truly was this practice that led the change in me, and therefore led the change in us. I am not the person I was 10 years ago. And I love who I am. Absolutely love who I am. And that's what this practice offers. Absolutely. You start falling in love with yourself in the non-narcissistic way. The freeing way, the beautiful way, because that love, it connects you to the beauty in this world, and you only want more beauty, and you become magnetic. And so the things you want in your life come to you, and they come to you with ease and beauty. And you learn that dance, and you just stay in it, and more beauty comes, and more ease comes, and more opportunity comes, and the life you want to live comes. And so just imagine if everybody on this planet had this experience. It's just, and it all starts with, just practicing these things. Laura.
Well, mine's kind of the same story, and I don't know where I'd be. Even this last year was so tumultuous for me. And Katasi, the teachings of Katasi, was seriously a lifeboat. And gosh, how do you get to this point where you decide to follow the teachings? Like you find that desire in yourself that you want something different. You want more balance in your life. And that's what the Katasi teachings bring to you. And you get to see where you have choices. And gosh, there's so much to the teaching, because there's the life energy, and there's your song, and how you perceive the world, and develop your intentions of how you want to experience it. It's like, I call it almost it's a jump in your awareness and your consciousness, and then you continue to just kind of choose that, and you're no longer in that sleep reactive world. Once you really start embracing the teachings, you're no longer just that, like a branch on a tree that's just waving in the wind for all the things that, because there's a lot of asleep stuff going along, that broken up backwards turning wheel, there's pieces all over it, and you start to look, well, where am I adding to that backwards turning wheel? And you start to take responsibility and start, I'm really looking forward to this gathering to see the places where I still need to put my attention towards choosing the awake world, the balance, so I'm looking forward to it, because it's already changed my life significantly. I want to see what I'm missing. I'm already bought my ticket. I already got my place I'm staying. I'm looking forward to it.
That is, it's exciting to gather together and all work. I mean, it's when you think of everybody at this event is all working towards, these practices, like to really find the beauty in things and live in beauty in things, connect to the life energy, to collect to the field, to live the no nos. It's less like it's exciting that there's an opportunity that Kay and you guys have created this opportunity to gather us together, because in our in our daily lives, we connect a little here and there, but to for these few moments to be completely surrounded by all these people trying to do the same thing, find healing for themselves, find healing for the planet, create it and make it happen. It's exciting. I got my ticket too.
Yeah, I like it, because every time you experience that balance, every time you experience making a choice towards that balance and your song and who you really are, that infinite and consciousness that's you're adding to all humanity. I love that concept that we're adding to the whole of healing our planet and that balance. Oh, I'm so excited.
Laura, I love that you're talking about choice too, because I tend to forget to bring that up, because I think that's the biggest thing in learning these, is learning that we have the power is all here with us. We have to make a choice to use it, because it's being, Kay says it's happening. You're creating it. You're constantly creating. So you have to choose. And that awareness of that you are choosing, whether or not you know it or not, you are choosing. And, it's like you can't, you can't be a victim. This is not, it's like, if that's, this is, I'm a control freak. And so Katasi is my game. I want to change my world. It was like I want change in my world. And even me as a control freak, it was like, what? I have to do this. But it's just been, once you stop struggling with it, the ease that comes and all the gifts. I mean, there's a reason I'm in it 10 years later, is not just because I'm a slow learner, but because it just keeps unfolding to more things. And, Kay, you've just been this beautiful, I mean, you keep learning and you haven't even shown me 1/10 of what you know. And so I'm in it for the long run. So it's a beautiful opportunity.
It's empowering. When you really understand and embrace the teachings, it's a power to choose your experience and keep choosing it every single day. Keep choosing that love that permeates everything that you're not aware of, because you've constricted yourself. Because it's like Kay was talking about, connecting with the trees and nature that's all around. We are connected. We've shut that off. So It's about choosing to expand our consciousness and focus our awareness. I'm excited. It's going to be so much fun. Laura, you need a timeout. Go outside for just a little bit.
Or
I'll
no.
be back.
Well, weather permitting, we will definitely have some outside time during all of our excursions. But it's not like you're here gathered with a lot of people and sunshine outside, summer, it's nice and warm, lots of cold beverages, and everybody's talking and laughing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure that will be there to some degree, but we're gonna get down to it. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty of things. We've got people who are brand new. Might want to call them super green. They are so brand new. And we got people in the middle, and we got people who've been around and with Katasi for a long time, since the beginning even of when I started teaching. So we're just gonna be doing so many interesting things.
Hard to contain my excitement.
I love what you said, Laura, about making these choices. We're choosing every minute. People don't realize that they're making these choices over and over and over again all day long. I used to have an art teacher that would get pushing about 5, maybe 6 o'clock or something, and he'd been there all day, and he'd say, "Well, gang, I'm all worn out. I've made my allotment of choices for the day. I'm sorry, I can't help you anymore. Not today. This is it." But we have that capacity to just keep going, keep making choices, because we have to. We don't realize how many choice to turn to the right or to the left, or if you don't make the right choice, if you have to go to the bathroom, you'll miss the bathroom. We're making choices of all kinds all day long, and we don't realize it when we're muggles and we're asleep, but many of those choices have a spiritual quality to them. They have a spiritual composite about them. And we need to start understanding that, start feeling that, realizing that these choices that might seem just so everyday, inconsequential, they really can make a difference. They can turn out to make a really big difference on an emotional level, spiritual level, compatibility level with other people, your happiness level. We're made to be happy. It's just part of our species. We're made to be happy and joyful and content and confident and loving ourselves, loving others, knowing who we are. This is what we're made for. We don't have it, we begin to crumble. The ancients say that we are a unique individual piece of creator. And when we can't create things that are of beauty, like the Creator does, and things of love and harmony, and that are effective and efficient and helpful for self and others, that help us with our expanding of our consciousness, the expanding of our conscious awareness, like of our connection to everything. We are connected to everything. Science is even starting to say that. But are you conscious of it? Can you feel it? Do you feel any of that? We need to learn these things again. We have to bring it back into ourselves. When we're born, we have this basic knowingness. These things are basic knowingness for our being, for our song. And the only reason we don't know it now is because it got taught out of us. We were taught how to think, how to feel, all this stuff. And you have to forget everything the way you learned it and start learning how to feel what is really there. The key of it all is feeling. Feeling with your spirit, with your song, with your heart, and with the rest of your body. But mostly it's that what we call our spirit senses, our spirit feeling. That's how we see what the beauty really is, how extensive it is, how deep it goes, how profound it is, how full of love it is, how full of love the whole universe is. When we learn who we are, we feel that, we learn it, we experience it, we know it. And we get to where it's not just in the ceremony times that we're able to feel these things, but it's every day, all day, every day. And it becomes the way we are and what we do. No matter what else is going on and how big of an ugly pile of dishes you've got sitting there in front of you, or the toddlers screaming, beating each other up. There's so much beauty even in all of that, even in the mundane and the everyday. And like you pointed out, Laura, whatever it is we learn, we experience, we feel, we are sending it into the common human consciousness, the collective consciousness of us all, so that everybody learns from what we experienced and we learn. But you have to do it for yourself first. It's like learning how to swim. You can't not know how to swim, jump out into the middle of the lake and try to save a drowning person. Just does not work. That doesn't happen. You have to do it for yourself first. Do any of you guys have experiences with that, of realizing you have to do it for yourself first so that you can then it shares with everybody else?
I can answer to that. I'll start. I remember when I first started doing the song ceremony, and I had started off just doing it, once or twice a week. And then I was really paying attention to how I felt afterwards. And it set a precedent for the whole day. And I just felt my whole energy shift every time that I did a song ceremony. And it was empowering. And then I just started to make it into a habit of doing it every single day. And then I started doing it like 2 times a day. And I'd do it before I went to bed. I mean, every chance I could get it in, I would get it in until I could really start to feel my song, even without the song ceremony. But until I started to have that desire and feel that that feeling, I didn't, I just had to go under faith that you knew what you're talking about. But once I got a little taste of it, that desire to continue to do it, and then my intention to wake up helped fuel it. And then I just kept choosing it and kept choosing it and kept choosing it. And then I would add in other practices and that's what you just start with what you can do. That's what I could listen to a song ceremony once a day. I got up a little early and listened to the song ceremony. And that's how I started to make the commitment of okay, for this 1 hour, I'm going to make this my intention. This is my desire to get to know my song more. And gosh, for me, it just snowballed. Once I made that one commitment and got the taste of what it does, how it opens you up and how it makes you realize you can live from that knowingness that you're infinite and eternal. I mean, gosh, that's a great first step. And then you just explore it every single time you do a song ceremony. Gosh, Laura, share. I mean, that's how it started with me. That's how, I read the book, but that's how it really started to snowball for me, was that commitment.
Well, they say put your oxygen mask on first, and that always sat with me. I was raised with not being selfish. Don't be selfish. It was like take care of everybody else before you take care of yourself. But, it's like you start seeing an exhausted person, almost a disabled person because they're so worn out, how a refreshed person, could take care of a family better than an exhausted person could take care of a family. And it's just, I started being more aware of what, Kay has in it, and I strongly suggest people going to YouTube and our Kay's YouTube station and searching for the frog medicine story. I would, it's everything. We're so contagious, and almost when we do things out of exhaustion, we make things worse. When we're not happy with ourselves, we're teaching other people constantly not to be happy with themselves. We're teaching them that living a life of quiet desperation is truly living, and that's what you're supposed to do. I experience, going back to my family and working with my dad, who's 81 or 80, almost 81, and my sister, and trying to unwind them from being so worried about everything and how that attracts worry. Because the more I found showing, my stepkids, how self-love, like in what's changed in them now as parents and what they're doing, and encouraging that. But Reg and I, my husband and I, always say, be the light. We can't just tell them how to do these things. We have to show them, and we can't fake it. You can't fake I'm happy today. It's not. It's just everybody kind of then learns how to fake I'm happy today too. We're so contagious. We're so teaching. We're not just manifesting our lives, but we're constantly teaching. We're constantly teaching each other. We're constantly showing each other a way to be, and in some cases, a way not to be. It's and so we found, the value. I did it for myself. As much as I'd like to say I want to save the planet, because I totally do. I want to save my own ass. I'm sorry. It felt so good. And what I found is that ripple effect. The happier I am, the better mood I am. It's hard for people to be in a bad mood around me. I mean, it's so easy to change just by not forcing anything on, not pushing my agenda, just being happy. Not only draws amazing things to me, but it's a vibration. I am the strongest vibration in my home. And the more Katasi I've done, the more life energy I am, the strongest vibration. And every time I'm in delight and joy and happiness, my bank account becomes full. My kids get along, and they're adults now, and that's impressive. It's just, it's like, it's magic. It's beautiful. I mean, I don't, and I know I'm not perfect. I step out of it, and the second I do, the opposite starts attracting. And that's when I kind of notice I'm out of it. It was like, whoa, this is not how I live anymore. I have ease and delight. Why am I at the back of the line? I'm normally at the front of the line. I'm in chaos. I'm normally not in chaos. I'm normally in ease. And so that's typically signs I need to look around and see, what's triggered me, what's happening where I'm not choosing to see the beauty and the happiness. It's so contagious. It's just you got to do it for yourself, but there is no way and no how your family. I mean, I've seen it with Laura's family. I've seen it with your own family, how it's changed your sons.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember I heard this one story one time. It talked about there was this lady that had like 7 children, and those, I'm going to use the analogy of 7 children, and she only had 1 egg. And she went to the elder and says, okay, I got 1 egg. Do I just split this egg up in between, and my 7 kids, or what do I do? And the elder says, you eat the egg. And oh my gosh, I think of all the times in my life I was splitting up my energy and giving it to everybody else. And this teaching teaches us that we need to take responsibility for us. And when we can do that, we're helping everybody else. When we can eat the egg, we can eat the egg and take care of us and put us first, we're helping everybody else because of that consciousness, that connection. And it took me a lot. I put everybody else first. And the teachings are really helping me to choose me, and ultimately choosing beauty and my passion and my desire and my intention to awaken. So eat the egg.
I love that.
Good story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Helmet.
Got a guy interpretation.
Here goes. Well, one of the things that struck me that you said is that modern people have forgotten about the beauty of life, the beauty of being alive. And that is obvious. And that later on you said that we don't learn about that beauty. So yes, we all have forgotten about it, but to no fault of our own, really. Everything in our world is geared towards having us live in a black and white world. And a big part of what the teachings were and are for me is step into the technicolor world, because that's what it is. It's full, it's rich, it's exciting, it's beautiful, it's nourishing, it's fulfilling, it's passion, it's aliveness. And the problem is that because we have been so indoctrinated that black and white is okay, we have lost the drive to look for more. And I think that is what is stirring in these times. And in big part, that is what we do. That is why we do what we do, to help people find their way out of that monotone, boring existence where struggle is most of what people know. And following the whatever news and political strife and every other insanity that's going on in the world just feeds your black and wild world, black and white world. Stop it. Stop it and look for what's really there. That's what got me out. And I wouldn't want to be any other place. And it just keeps growing and continuing and getting more bright and more beautiful and more peaceful and fulfilling. So, yeah, that's the guy's perspective. Thank you so much for sharing. And thanks everybody for being here, joining us live. Here's the QR code again for the summer gathering where we're going to talk about, and Kay is going to teach a lot more about all that. A lot more. And it's very, very exciting to know that you're going to be here in person again in a couple of weeks.
Oh, so exciting.
With along with a bunch of other incredible people. So yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had a lot of people here. COVID kind of turned that off. We went to Zoom, and I don't know what the name of this software stuff is, but we're online. And we still do a lot of things online. And it's working good. We discovered that we could do just about everything that we do with our teachings, ceremonies, and everything live online. And they still come across, people still feel them very strongly. But it is definitely fun to be here in person. I am seriously looking forward to being able to see you all face to face and big hugs and lots of good times.
All right. Good show. Thank you so much. Are we gonna close it out?
You tell us. I know the other of us can talk all day.
Yeah, we could. There's a lot more to talk about, but let's leave it here for today. It was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Again, thank you all for joining us live, and we see you next time. Love you.
Love you all. Love you all. Thank you all for being